Hmm.
Hello and welcome to a refrigerated editorial. What is this? This is a bit of a weird thing, and I know I've done a lot of weird things on this channel lately. Usually I review scripted short videos, but lately I've been experimenting a lot, and this week I want to try something new. And I wanted to try something new because Axiom Verge came out on Steam, and I'm like, oh, I'm a big Metroid fan, I should review that. But then something interesting happened. Yooka-laylee went up on Kickstarter from the original developers at Rare, and it's going to be a new Banjo-Kazooie platform game. Well, it's not actually Banjo-Kazooie, but it may as well be. And Bloodstained Ritual of the Night hit Kickstarter soon after that, so I wanted to talk a little bit about this trend that we're seeing here. And Axiom Verge actually ties quite nicely into this because I think gaming is starting to enter a golden age, and I know what you're thinking. It's like, oh, well, Hideo Kojima just left Konami and he might never develop games again, and Mortal Kombat's got microtransactions, and stop that. AAA publishers are still being complete and total idiots, in my opinion, but when it comes to the indie scene, I think we're reaching a new golden age. Specifically speaking, a golden age of spiritual successors, which means that we aren't seeing new Metroids, we aren't seeing new Silent Hills, we aren't seeing new Castlevanias, but we may as well be seeing them in the indie scene, because we have stuff like Axiom Verge and yooka-laylee to fill in the gaps. So let's start with Axiom Verge, since that's what I was originally going to review this week, and it's basically Super Metroid. Like, Nintendo doesn't even need to make a new Metroid game anymore because Axiom Verge exists, and in those terms, there's not really much to talk about in terms of Axiom Verge. Because it is literally Super Metroid. It does have some cool new weapons. It has an interesting replacement for the Morph Ball, even though it is pretty much the Morph Ball, especially late in the game. And it has an interesting, sort of weird story that's a bit hard to follow. I do miss the scan visor from Metroid Prime. I've sung its praises in a previous video. But you know what? It's, as I said, Nintendo doesn't even need to make a new Metroid because Axiom Verge exists, and if they get it onto Wii U, then we may as well have a new Metroid. And for other games, it's the same thing, like Baldur's Gate. We don't need Baldur's Gate anymore because Pillars of Eternity is a thing. We don't need Fallout anymore because Wasteland 2 is a thing. Well, some people might prefer the New Vegas Fallout 3 kind of style of Fallout, but for those purists, Wasteland 2 is going to do the job. We're seeing similar projects on Kickstarter right now with Bloodstained. It's going to be this new Symphony of the Night style game from the guy who developed Symphony of the Night. So it's not a new Castlevania, but it's still Castlevania. And it's going to be a lot better than any of the Lords of Shadow stuff that Konami... Well, Konami's not going to release it anyway, because they're going to focus on mobile games, which is dumb. But we still have a new Castlevania coming, it just has a different name. Same goes for Banjo-Kazooie. We're not getting a new Banjo-Kazooie. Well, I mean, we might. Microsoft might pull something at E3 this year, but if they don't, that's okay. Or even if this new Banjo-Kazooie sucks, it'll be okay, because the old Banjo-Kazooie developers are working on their own game that may as well be Banjo-Kazooie. And, later this year, we're going to see Mighty No. 9. Capcom hasn't touched Mega Man for years. But that won't matter, because Mighty No. 9 is on the way, and it's from Keiji Inafune, who's the developer of Mega Man. So, that's really cool. I hope that these guys succeed and make good games that people want to buy. And speaking of Konami, let's go back to Konami for a minute. They canceled PT, and a lot of people are really hurt about that, and I'm hurt about that because PT was a real sort of gaming moment, and people who haven't already downloaded PT in the past will never be able to experience that again. But that's okay, because now we have games like Allison Road or Silent Hill Alchemilla, which are filling in those shoes of PT to make their own sort of Silent Hill experiences without necessarily being Silent Hill. Well, I guess Alchemilla is a Silent Hill themed mod for Half-Life 2, but it's still that same sort of general fan-made goodness. It's games like these that serve to prove that if AAA publishers are going to blindly focus on trying to top Call of Duty, then the fans are going to rise up, and the original developers are going to rise up, and fans are going to support them. And the indie gaming scene is really going to bring back those old genres for people who really want to play them, and that's really cool. That's something that I feel really needs to happen to the AAA gaming space. Because I feel like they're pushing too many boundaries when it comes to what they can do to piss off consumers next. Because, you know, as I said, Mortal Kombat X has microtransactions for easy fatalities. And stuff like that isn't going away for gaming, for big budget AAA games. You can bet that the new Mass Effect is going to have some really weird, crippling microtransaction that's going to make interest in it disappear. And the same's probably going to happen to Battlefront, and the same's probably going to happen to whatever Activision or Ubisoft or other mean, bad AAA developers have. And Arkham Knight's coming out soon, and it's going to have $40 of DLC, which is ridiculous. And if consumers don't like that, and Arkham Knight doesn't sell too well, then you can bet that indie developers are going to rise up and develop not a new Arkham game, but something very similar to it. Like, I don't know, maybe it'll be Daredevil or something, who knows? But it'll be in that same style of game, and it'll still feel authentic, because maybe if Arkham Knight doesn't do too well, then Rocksteady's going to rise up and do something that the fans want, and that's great. Important developers nowadays are realizing that they don't need AAA publishers anymore. And AAA publishers don't really understand games anymore, so that's something that I feel really needs to happen. But I'm going to wrap this up by saying Axiom Verge is fantastic. End on the note that I was originally going to with my original Axiom Verge review idea. Go pick it up. If you love Metroid, then you really need to play Axiom Verge. It's the next Metroid. So if you want to support this phenomenon, Axiom Verge is a good place to start. I haven't backed Yooka-laylee or Bloodstained because I'm not a Kickstarter person. I don't believe in investing in something before I know fully what it is. But, you know, if you're into that kind of thing and you want to see this kind of thing happen again, go support them. They already have millions of dollars, but your money couldn't hurt, let's face it. And download stuff like Alchemilla, buy stuff like Pillars of Eternity and Wasteland 2. Show developers that you are willing to publish their games and that you are willing to support this new movement of old genres, or even sometimes new genres, being brought back from the dead. And this is a new golden age, and it would be awesome if you could support this. So I'll see you guys next week. Next week is Splatoon, which I think is already out by the time this video's out. So yeah, that'll be fun. See you next week.